Welcome to Mor-In podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin, co-founder and vice president of Field Supplements, as well as sobriety, woke business, and wellness coach. Mor-In offers an array of content based on marketing, health and fitness, personal branding, addiction, and often goes down the rabbit hole of conspiracy, politics, and the truth. If you seek to better understand the inner workings of human performance, business, consciousness, and humanity, you have come to the right place. Thank you for tuning in and taking along. Let's get today's podcast started. All right. Mask off, baby. Woo! What's happening, everybody? It's been a little while since I have hopped on here and done a podcast, so I want to appreciate you guys for your patience. I left my camera equipment in Vegas last week, so I wasn't able to do podcasting for a whole week, for like a week and a half. So thank you for tuning in. This is a special broadcast of More in the Know. I don't even know which episode I'm on, 40-something at this point, but I'm going to get right into today's topic. Obviously, you saw me wearing a mask, and not to flex on everyone, but this is a N95 mask, the only mask actually that's been scientifically shown to drastically decrease the chances of spreading in any sort of virus due to the molecular size of COVID-19. But as a matter of fact, this surgical mask was meant to be used in just that, a surgical setting. I'm supposed to be fully shaved with no hair on my face, as well as be in an aseptic place with everything sterilized, meaning my hands, everything's cannot be cross-contaminated, and that's a one-use mask. About a couple years ago, or maybe about 12 months ago, that mask actually ranged from anywhere between 25 cents and 50 cents, and now China, as well as some other manufacturers of N95 masks, are profiting up to $3 to $4 of wholesale on batches of 100,000 masks or more. So, man, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. And I'm gonna start this off by saying, in the last couple weeks, I felt defeated, man. I really felt defeated, and I really felt some things just started maybe just to kind of build up. And throughout this whole situation, I've really kept my cool. I've stayed calm, cool, and collected. I've been in my body. I've done my meditation. I've been working out. I've been exercising, fueling my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul with the right things. But just like me and just like you possibly, I felt overwhelmed. And I really felt that the situation got to me this last weekend when masks were mandated in Arizona. And with that being said, I really kind of had a moment of a breakdown, and a moment where I felt weak and was very critical myself, because from the beginning of this, I've had a very strong opinion on not to wear a mask, because I do not believe that a cloth over my face and or a mask that's improperly used is going to stop any sort of spread. The healthy have never, in the history of humankind and in the history of humans, have ever had to wear masks out in public. And it has been absolutely shown scientifically that these cloth masks do absolutely nothing for stopping the spread or for you to receive it. In fact, breathing in your own carbon dioxide, because that's what happens when you're breathing into a mask. You breathe out carbon dioxide and you breathe oxygen in, so you are able to oxidize your body. But when you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide, it actually breaks down your immune system. So it's very counterproductive, especially for the healthy population. Now, if you have COPD, respiratory issues, and or ill, potentially a mask could be in a situation, but I still truly believe it is best that instead of wearing a mask, that we are building our immune systems, that we are fueling our bodies both inside and outside, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, through our foods with a well-balanced, nutritious diet, meditation, and surrounding ourselves with like-minded, open-minded individuals who are going to allow us to grow, change, adapt, overcome, and put us in an environment that is advantageous to be at our best and to do our best. And that is what is not being shown on mainstream media. Mainstream media right now is wanting us to live in this fear-mongering situation and complete fear once again, because guess what? COVID-19's making a comeback, and I've been calling this since day one, and I'm going to just call it how it is. I'm just going to say it how it is, because here is the truth about it. Here is the truth about COVID-19, and here's the truth about what to expect in the upcoming months, because everything that I've predicted has been true, not because it's been my own predictions, but because I've been listening very, very intently to both the mainstream media narrative and those experts on the outside. Because once you can begin to understand the agenda, the narrative of the puppeteers, we're just pawns in this big game of chess. Once you can understand the chess players, the ones that are the 100 to 1,000 people that are really calling the shots, that are controlling the money, that are really forcing their agenda and the new world order among people, you'll begin to understand and be able to see the pattern that's been created. So let's trace this back. I already had predicted a month ago that we were going to see a second outbreak of COVID-19, regardless of the legitimacy of it or not. But let me share this insight with you, and this is what mainstream media is not telling you. I have a very close friend of mine, and I'm not going to share his name on here because I'll come out with his name at a later time once I ask for his permission. I have a very close friend of mine who's directly in contact with a doctor that at the beginning of this whole COVID-19 situation actually had developed a test to test for COVID-19 antibodies. What are antibodies? Antibodies mean that you've been exposed to the virus, that your body has fought it off, your immune system has fought it off, and so next time you're exposed, you've built up somewhat of an immunity to it. So you have the antibodies in your body. Now, I'll tell you the importance of that here in a second. This specific doctor who had gone to the top of the top to present this test was shut down, shunned, told absolutely not, told absolutely not, told absolutely not. Now look at what mainstream media is not telling you and look at exactly what's going on right now. They have an antibody test now. And you can get tested for the antibodies of COVID-19. And that's why we're seeing the reemergence of COVID-19 cases, but not actually seeing an increase in deaths. So if you look at the deaths of COVID-19, they're actually going down as the cases are going up. Why? Because they're testing not for active COVID-19 cases, but they're testing for the antibodies of COVID-19. So they're classifying anybody who's got antibodies of COVID-19 a positive COVID-19 test. So what would that mean? That would mean that the number of cases would skyrocket, and then you would see these numbers be very alarming at a rate and a measure that is fearful for the people. Now, all of a sudden, they can re-push their agenda and fucking put masks on our mouths like muzzled dogs. And that's how I felt, and that's why I'm tracing back what I'm telling you right now as to why I felt defeated and why I felt weak. And I was getting really critical of myself because I am so strong-willed saying, I'm not wearing a fucking mask, man. I'm just not wearing a mask. But guess what? I can't do anything unless I comply and wear a mask. And it's one of those situations where it's very, it's one of those situations where I have to stop and think for a moment, and I just got to pray to God. I got to pray to God because at one spectrum, at one end, I have to wear a mask and I have to comply, and that's completely against my beliefs. That's against my civil liberties. That's against my rights as a human being. And on the other end, to be able to comply and do the things that I like to do, to have my other civil liberties and my civil freedoms, I have to comply and wear a fucking mask. So I'm in a situation where I'm wearing a mask so I can do other things that I love. Now tell me how that is fucked up, because it is. It's messed up, man. And this whole situation is just one big Truman show. It's just one big circus going on. And once you begin to understand the key players that are involved from the top, we're talking Soros, Clinton, Fauci, Gates, from the top, baby. Not what you're seeing. Not what you're seeing on mainstream media, but what's happening behind the veil. And once you're able to lift the veil and you understand the players and you understand their agenda, you'll begin to be able to successfully predict the moves that they are going to be making. So that's what I want to say about the mask situation. And I felt defeated, man. I felt down. I felt defeated and I felt weak. I had a very good coaching call with my mentor, Jeffrey Combs. And I just want to say, how grateful I am to have a man like him in my life and a mentor, and to be able to receive his guidance and his mentorship and allow me to understand the cause to the effect of why I do what I do, be able to begin to separate the events of the feelings that have shaped my past, to be able to step into my power of the right now, the here and now, and just be here now and be here now at my best, doing my best, the best that I can. And that's what I want this message to be, is I have felt defeated. I have felt overwhelmed. I have felt this rush of emotions coming through me, but guess what? It's okay. It's okay. We just have to stop and just breathe for a minute and say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that serenity prayer is what I pray each and every single day, is just, God, please just grant me the serenity. Grant me the serenity, because right now, more than ever, we require God. We need God. We need good. And good to me right now is losing the fight. But we're in spiritual warfare. This isn't about a virus. This isn't about race wars. This isn't about police brutality. This is about our freedoms. This is about our liberties. This is about our civil rights. This is about spiritual warfare amongst the human race to strip away our civil liberties and step into a socialistic tyranny, communistic society the Democrats want us to be in. And if you don't see that, and if you don't understand that, I implore you, I implore you to be able to let go of and let go of the cognitive dissonance that you may have to this new information that you are receiving, and begin to understand and identify what the fuck actually is happening and what actually is going on. And just to take a blind eye to it and say, well, it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't affect me. Does it not affect you? Are you kidding me? How does it not affect you? And how does it not matter? It is our livelihoods at stake. Not only our livelihoods, our families' livelihoods. It's the children's livelihoods that have to be around this sick world that we're in right now, of in the fall of all the new mandates and things that kids must undergo when they go into a school system, and how sickening it is to watch these promotional videos that they're filming right now of what school is going to look like for children going into public school. That's sickening to me. And if you put a blind eye to all this, and you say, well, it's really not that big of a deal. Life is just what you make it. Sure, life is just what you make it. But what I want to make a beautiful world for myself and those who are entering this life after me. Because if we don't step up now, if we don't make change now, it's going to happen. History repeats itself because it's predictable. People are predictable, and the players are predictable. And the players right now are playing us, the puppeteers are playing us like fucking pawns in their game of chess. And until we wake up and stop being muzzled, blinded sheep getting blindly led to the slaughterhouse by these 101,000 people that are in charge, until we stand up as patriots, not divide, not separate, but unite as one. Until we do that, we're going to continually see our civil liberties, our civil rights. We're going to continually see division and race wars, and we're going to see tons of conflict and chaos, because at the end of the day, that is the agenda. The more chaos, the more dysfunction, the more conflict, the more division. Divided, we fall. And as we fall as a nation, you know what that allows? That allows tyranny. That allows governments to step in, to take charge, and to take over. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. But united we stand as people, as one, and not the black race, not the white race, not the red or the purple or any race. We are the human race. And one nation under God, we can prevail and unite and become one as a people, and overcome the tyranny, the tyrannic powers that are upon us right now. And we must start to wake up, and we must start to be conscious of our daily actions, not only what we're doing, what we're supporting, what we're believing, but we also must do this so we can set the foundation for those behind us. That's why it matters. That's why we must do this. We must do this not just for us, not for our sake, but for our children's sakes and our children's sakes and their sake. Because right now is a pivotal key in history. Right now we have an opportunity to step up and be the change. We're always talking about be the change. Now is the time to unite arms as one, as people, as one human race, and begin to understand that we are powerful beyond measure. We are powerful beyond measure, and that's what they're scared of. That's what the powers at hand are scared of. They're scared of conscious, critical human beings who are able to think for themselves, who are able to understand what their game plan is and be able to understand the powers at hand. That's what they're afraid of. And for us to be able to take down this tyrannic power, we must become conscious individuals, critical thinkers, and those who lift the veil and question everything. Don't just take what I say for the truth. Question everything, look into it, and begin to become conscious of what is actually going on. That is today's episode of More in the Know. Woohoo! Fuck, I knew I was going to crush it today, and I just felt that. I'm sweating under my armpits. I'm about to have a sweat dripping from my forehead, my lower back, baby. I just felt it, and I just want to give a shout-out and a deep appreciation to every single person who's watching this, because guess what? I know there was some fear. There was fear by people who were involved with me, and fear that this podcast was going to infuriate people, but this podcast isn't to do that. This podcast isn't to insinuate. This podcast is to inspire and unite people. And those who have watched to 16 plus minutes, those who watched the full podcast, I am incredibly grateful for you, your patronage to this podcast, your patronage to America, and being an ambassador of change. And we are the change that we wish to see. And today is the day to do that. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I love you. Peace out.